I do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot. And he'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time.
He called us doofuses when we had you on.
He's a group of doofuses in flat-brimmed hats.
Guess what? We
Ask him how many.
what he did.
He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He's in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And and I think also, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them, and I think he took that hit and really doubled down the other direction.
Jimmy Kimmel just got slapped with a $500 million lawsuit from Trump, and Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly are loving every second of it. Rogan tears into him like a failed comic on stage, delivering brutal jabs without holding back. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly takes aim at his Hollywood ego, breaking it down with sharp precision. Kimmel's meltdown isn't just news. It's late night's most savage headline yet.
Guy's name, he's such an absolute prick. I can't stand him. But anyway, it's just my thought bubble out loud. We took a look at some of their reactions to the news of Trump's win. Look at this.
Hey there. How are you doing? If you watch the show regularly, I'm guessing you're not doing great. Yeah, me neither.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate. It was a terrible night for poor people, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO.
Do you know how much it costs to produce Jimmy Kimmel's show? I guarantee you it's tens and tens of millions. It could be as much as 100 million. I have no idea. You know how much Tucker's video cost? Nothing. You know how much Jimmy Kimmel, how many people he gets tuning in on an average night? Just last week, his average was, in the overall, meaning all viewers, 1.5 million. In the key demo, 236,000. Tucker would have been embarrassed to pull that on.
Joe Rogan couldn't believe what he was reading. President Trump, yes, still the full-blown commander-in-chief, had officially filed a $500 million lawsuit against Jimmy Kimmel. Not a cease and desist. Not a sternly worded letter from some lawyer in a too-tight suit. A full $500 million slap in the face. And Joe was already laughing before he even took a breath.
Chance in hell that this is funny or gonna work. And when you see those flat, corny, late-night monologue jokes with no audience, Colbert, there's Jimmy Kimmel, there's Fallon. What they're doing is just like reading off of a teleprompter. So a bunch of really good joke writers wrote them some stuff, and then they're playing to the audience, and the audience is like laughing, so they get this feedback, and they know how to do that. They stand there, and there's applause signs. And then there's producers. There's the warm-up guy that's literally telling people to clap. They're like, okay, explain to the people. Yeah. Okay, when Jimmy comes out, I want a big round.
He sat back, eyes wide, laughing like he'd just seen a kangaroo win a boxing match. This headline was pure gold. Kimmel, the teleprompter king, had poked a bear one too many times. And now that bear had lawyers and the full weight of the government. Joe leaned into the chaos like a kid discovering his favorite game just got a sequel. Crystal.
And do you know who's going to be hosting the Academy Awards this year? Jimmy Kimmel. Do you know who's worn blackface repeatedly and spoken inner city sort of urban accent saying she needs to darn those socks? Jimmy Kimmel as Oprah, as a fat suit, black-faced, darning socks Oprah. Now, if you are of the left, that's fine. If you are of the right and happen to just say, hey, people used to wear blackface and nobody freaked out about it, you...
Joe said Kimmel getting sued for $500 million was like a house cat challenging a freight train. Bold, sure, but delusional? Absolutely. Jimmy must have thought monologues came with immunity, like roasting the president from behind a desk would somehow go unnoticed. Horrified.
Horrified after yours truly said in 2018 that people used to don dark makeup in order to imitate well-known black celebrities and it wasn't a big deal. Absolutely ate up the performance by Hollywood darling Mr. Kimmel, whose blackface costumes included his oft-repeated bit as basketball star.
Joe mocked Kimmel's smugness, saying, watching Jimmy crack political jokes is like a chihuahua barking at a SWAT team. Loud, constant, but never intimidating. And now, That yapping just got expensive. He ripped into Kimmel's comedy style too, calling it warm milk. Not edgy, not insightful, just safe enough to make interns laugh and keep their jobs. Rogan leaned in and said the real comedy wasn't Kimmel's show. It was Kimmel thinking he was still the cool kid in the cafeteria. Bro, you're a network puppet with a Hollywood laugh track. The rebellion ship sailed a decade ago. Joe mocked. Kimmel going after Trump was like tossing a pebble at a freightliner and bragging about the dent. Now the train's suing. For the price of an island. Joe laughed at the thought of Kimmel scrambling to delete old clips while calling his lawyers, like a kid wiping chalkboard insults before the principal walks in. This wasn't just legal, it was psychological warfare. Trump didn't just want to win. He wanted Kimmel sweating, panicking, whispering to baristas about defamation laws, and the irony. Kimmel, who built a career mocking celebs, is now crying foul because one of them isn't laughing back. It's like the bully whining after the quiet kid finally punches back, Joe said. Except the quiet kid is Trump, with $500 million and zero chill. He added that Kimmel's jokes were never clever, just Twitter-level snark. Spoiler alert, Joe said. You're not Jon Stewart. And even he would have told you to switch material years ago.
Tucker's numbers were 3 times what Jimmy Kimmel gets. And Tucker's little basement video that he did from clearly like his cabin that he broadcasts out of Maine in literally has 21 million views. Okay? 21 million views. Whereas, as I point out, on ABC, a massive network that comes into your home for free, that you have to make no effort to find, at best, Jimmy Kimmel can get 1.5 million. He needs to have a little self-perspective before going out there and hurling these insults because he...
As Joe wrapped up, he joked that the lawsuit was the most exciting thing to happen to Jimmy Kimmel live in years. Finally, people were Googling Kimmel for something other than reruns or cringe superhero promos. Meanwhile, across town, Megyn Kelly wasn't laughing. She was sharpening her knives. Calm and calculated, she called the lawsuit inevitable. To her, Kimmel was a guy who mistook applause for relevance, a so-called resistance hero reading safe, stale punchlines written by others. The only real risk in his comedy, people falling asleep halfway through.
The problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction where more and more things become forbidden and toxic, to the point where, you know, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole. It's pretty funny. But then... Did he really? Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns. It's transphobic to joke about pronouns. So they were chiding him.
Megyn Kelly dissected Jimmy like a surgeon. She said he used to be funny, back in the Man Show days, but that Kimmel's long gone. Today's version? Corporate safe, outrage addicted, and desperate for relevance. He's the high school kid turned hall monitor. She quipped. Shocked no one takes him seriously. Then she hit the real punchline. Kimmel mocking Trump nightly, assuming immunity. Throwing shade is one thing, she said. But forgetting the guy you're roasting is the president, with lawyers faster than your teleprompter, is just dumb. His act wasn't brave. It was low risk, high smug. Megyn called the lawsuit karmic comedy. The man who mocked everyone now buried under legal heat for thinking he was untouchable. This isn't about free speech, she said. It's about cheap shots finally having a price. And now, Jimmy's probably hiding in his writer's room, rewriting monologues like it's a panic bunker, trying to stay edgy while dodging defamation. It's like watching a magician pull a rabbit from a hat that's already in evidence. Megyn wasn't done. She said the lawsuit shattered the myth that late-night hosts live in a comedy bubble. Kimmel's been roasting Trump for years, pretending to be brave, while forgetting that throwing bricks from a glass studio has consequences. She called him part of a media machine that loves to dish it out, but cries foul when it gets it back. When Trump responds, it's tyranny. But when Jimmy mocks nightly, it's just comedy. Megyn joked the lawsuit might be the best thing to happen to Kimmel, finally. People are watching again. Trump might not just bankrupt him, she said. He might actually revive his relevance. She pictured Kimmel under dim lights, sweating over lawsuit papers, realizing this isn't a skit. This is $500 million real. Time to sell the mugs and maybe a few celebrity contacts. Megyn said what everyone was thinking. This wasn't about silencing Kimmel. It was about sending a message. Trump doesn't just want a legal win. He wants to end the era of smug celebrity activism without consequences. And Jimmy? He missed his shot like a blindfolded toddler with a dartboard. As the dust settled, Joe and Megyn stood on opposite ends of the same battlefield. Different voices, same mockery. This wasn't just a lawsuit. It was a roast wrapped in litigation, and the punchlines were starting to hurt. Joe jumped back in, laughing like he'd just seen someone drop a wedding cake on a banana peel. The irony, he said, is that Jimmy finally got what he wanted, Trump's attention. Just not the kind that goes viral. The kind that comes in court papers and a price tag straight out of a playground argument. Joe said Kimmel poked the bear, but forgot this bear owns skyscrapers, lawyers, and zero tolerance for boredom. Trump didn't fire off a tweet. He sent a wrecking ball. And now Jimmy's left holding a mic with punchlines that need legal disclaimers. Joe joked that next time Kimmel cracks a Trump joke, there'll be attorneys in the front row like it's defamation, the musical. Then he got philosophical, Rogan style. Being loud isn't brave, and having a camera doesn't make you untouchable. Kimmel thought he was slaying dragons, but he was really spitting at a tank. And now that tank's parked in his driveway, lawsuit in hand, grin on its face. Megyn laughed, saying Kimmel's probably Googling how many jokes count as defamation. He used to play the comedy rebel, she said. But now he's facing real resistance, not claps, real legal firepower. She added that Kimmel got too comfortable, treating Trump jokes like a risk-free game. But now, the scoreboard's up, and he's on defense. Both Joe and Megyn agreed. Kimmel's no longer the jester in the tower. He stepped into the arena, and the lion roared back with a lawsuit.